Jacqueline here. In today's video, I'm bringing you my curated brush collection. But before we get started, and if you're new here, I hope that you will consider and subscribe to my channel, ring that post notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads, and come and follow me on my Instagram. And now, if you want to see what are those favorite brushes that made it to my curated collection, then just keep on watching. I know you have been waiting for this video. I know a lot of people, they have been asking me, what are the brushes that are your go-to brushes, your favorite brushes, the brushes that are like, you know, these are it. And on this video, I'm going to share with you something even beyond that. They are not only my favorite brushes, because if I tell you that I have a ton of brushes and that I love brushes, and if I will show you in each category which are the brushes that I will go for, it will be, I shouldn't say overwhelming, but it will be a lot more than what I'm going to present you today. Today I'm presenting you my curated collection, but this video, it makes me just so overjoyed. I'm just so excited. I mean, words cannot explain how excited I am, because it is in collaboration with two amazing creators here on YouTube. You know them, you know them. Mel Thompson and Kelsee Brianna Jai. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I need to compose myself. It just makes me so happy. I admire them. I have been a subscriber of them for a long time, and this collaboration just fills my heart so much. I'm just so grateful to Mel, to Kelsee for, you know, giving me this opportunity, collaborating with me. I do have a series here on my channel where I create eyeshadow palettes from existing palettes of an X brand, and I approach them if they wanted to collaborate with me separately. And anyhow, we got in communication, and I was talking with Kelsee, and Kelsee, hey, you know what? Mel wants to be part of the collaboration. I'm like, what? To me, that is just super special. Both of them. And the reason why is because, if you don't know, Kelsee and Mel, they are best friends. And their friendship is like a diamond. It shines through the screens. I mean, I have seen Mel has had 2 collaborations right now with Christian Odette with her lipsticks and lip liners, and one of the lip liners is called after something related to their friendship, after Kelsee smooches. I'm like, so cute. Not only that, Mel Thompson also just came out with an eyeshadow palette in collaboration with Sydney Grace, which I mean, I was so blessed to receive it. Thank you, Mel, once again. One of those eyeshadows in that palette is called BB, and it's again after that friendship. So for me to have this collaboration with 2 amazing, beautiful souls that are friends, they are like sisters, and that I'm collaborating with them, it just means so much. I just feel so honored. Talking about each of them individually, I'm sure you all know about them. If you don't know, you literally have been living under a rock. I mean, like, I'm such a tiny channel against them that I'm sure most likely either you're my subscriber and know them, or you're coming by because of them. And I'm so grateful. I welcome you to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you want to stay. But again, if you don't know about Mel or Kelsee, both of them are makeup artists. Both of them, they have been here in YouTube for a long time. Kelsee, like, for longer, like many years. Kelsee, in fact, she even has a university where you can actually do a consultation with her about makeup and techniques, which I find that is just like so amazing, because once again, Kelsee, she is a makeup artist, working makeup artist for a long time. Her looks are always divine, on point. I mean, her blending, absolutely everything that she does. I have learned so much from Kelsee as well as from Mel. As far as Mel goes, she is an artist through and through, extraordinary woman. I mean, every time that she does a look is like, wow, that's the look. I mean, like, she never ceases to impress. I mean, I can say the same thing for both of them. Both of them, they bring amazing reviews here to this platform. So at the end, we as viewers and also as consumers, we get the best feedback from them. And I'm just, again, so grateful. I mean, words cannot explain enough how grateful I am and how special this collaboration is for me and to my heart. Okay friends, so now I'm going to share with you what it will look like, my curated collection. So first I thought, you know what, I want to draw it, I want to do some stuff like that, and then talking with them we decided no, we could just, you know, choose from what we already have and kind of like give an idea if we want to change something, etc. So I'm going to go over that. Now as far as my background, I'm not a makeup artist. I am a makeup enthusiast. I love makeup, and I also have some preference. I don't like heavy makeup to begin with. Also, I do have, I mean, I'm already on my 4th floor. I do have fine lines. I do have enlarged pores. I don't have the perfect skin. I do have, my eyelids are not as firm as they used to be once upon a time. So I want to make sure that the brushes that I use overall, they are very soft, delicate, and that they will give me great blendability. So that's the feedback that you're going to get from me. And let's just then dive in. I think I want to start first with, should we start with, yes, I think we should start with complexion brushes, starting with a foundation brush. So I do have 3 right here, and each of them are for different reasons. The first one that I chose is this IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe All Over Complexion Perfection Brush, number 7. First of all, it's a synthetic brush. It does have a round ferrule. It's not pinched and it's not too dense. It does give a very airbrush application of your foundation because it's not too packed, not too heavy. So for example, if I'm using a light to medium coverage foundation or even a light coverage foundation, I can use this and give me the lightest application possible. Now on the other side, we have what is a concealer brush. I don't use it as a concealer brush. Usually I use this side right here to contour my face. I really like the Tone 4 Shaded Illuminate Contour in Intensity 1. I will be leaving all the details of the brushes and whatever I'm referring to on the description box below. But anyhow, this is something that I use if I want to contour with any contour products. Now, another brush that I really like, and this one in particular, I don't use with, like, say, medium coverage foundation or full coverage foundation, which are very little on my collection, but I use it mostly with, say, tinted moisturizers or very light coverage foundation, is to give me just a little bit more coverage. I do have freckles and I don't want to cover them, but I want to camouflage them. And I really like this BK Beauty 101 brush, literally a 101 brush. This is also a synthetic brush. As you can tell, this one is more packed. I mean, if I put it right here, and then also the ferrules are completely different. This ferrule right here, it's oval, completely flat, and then the hairs are cut slanted. That means that this will hug your face really well, but because of the density of the brush, it gives you more coverage. That being said, usually with a tinted moisturizer or a light coverage foundation, if I was a person that I didn't have any freckles or any discoloration, it will be just fine with me. But sometimes I find that I want to even out a little bit the coverage of the foundation or tinted moisturizer, and that's when I actually use this brush. Now the other brush is as well a foundation brush. It's also synthetic and it's by Sephora. It's the number 56 brush. It's from the Pro line Flawless Airbrush. Now I really like the application of foundation with this brush. It's very soft and smooth, but what I like to use it the most is to actually blend my contour or my cream bronzer. It just gives that perfect application because of its design. If you can tell right here, because the ferrule is oval, the bristles, they end into an oval shape, so it actually goes really well right there where your contour is supposed to go. And if you're using it, say, for first applying your foundation and then you go with the contour, it just blends so well because you have the foundation with the contour, which it makes a lot more even the application of, say, again, contour or bronzer. So those are my foundation brushes if I was to keep just 3. I know this is This is hard. And the next brush, it will be for my concealer. I do have very dark under eye circles. I usually have to go with a color corrector and then go with a concealer, but it has to be both of them very light because I do have a lot of fine lines. And the brush that it gives me not only the best application, but it keeps my concealer to be full coverage, yet it just keeps it very light and airbrush, is this Pat McGrath concealer brush. I mean, I don't even know if it's a concealer brush. I think that's the name of it, but this is it. And this brush right here came out, I think it was this year, if I'm not mistaken. But what I like about it, it just goes perfectly fine inside this area right here. And again, you can just tap, 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 and it will keep your concealer right in place. Completely in place, right where you want it, so that way you don't have to pack on more concealer. Say if you have the same situation as I do, that I have, you know, dark under eye circles. Now for setting my concealer, and as well to set the area where I have my enlarged pores with a blurring type of powder, I love this Wayne Goss Air brush. And the bristles are blue squirrel hair. I love the shape of this brush. It's kind of tapered at the top. It's very flat, kind of like a little tone of a cat. But it's so soft. And this is the thing that I love about blue squirrel hair, that it just gives the lightest application. Again, because my age, my large pores, my texture, my fine lines and all of that, I don't want to emphasize more, mostly because I also have dry skin, using powders. So I want to go with very, very lightweight powder. And usually I don't use powder all over my face. I use a little bit of a setting powder right here, like I said, something like a blurring powder, and then a finishing powder around the perimeter of my face. Therefore, I really love blue squirrel hair because again, it doesn't pick so much product. So the application is just airbrush, light, soft, pretty much undetectable. And that's when you get into the fourth floor, you'll start thinking that yes, that's the route that you want to go about, at least on my case. Now going into bronzer brushes. So for that perfect brush, honestly, I want to say that I have a perfect one, but yet it's not a perfect one. Okay, so for me, the closest to a perfect brush, it is this Sonia G Face Pro brush. I like how slanted it is. I like the mix of dye and indigo hair. If you can tell here, also the ferrule is oval, a little bit pinch on the top, which what it does is that you have a good amount of hairs right here, but as you pinch, you can see right here, the bristles, they just open with easy, giving an airbrush application of a bronzer, which I love. Now, why I said that this is perhaps not my, I mean, I will say, it's hard for me to say it because this is kind of like the perfect one, but what I would love to see realistically is to see this type of shape, just like this, same density, no, perhaps less density than this, but with these type of hairs. Again, this is also a Wayne Goss brush. This is of his latest collection, made out of blue squirrel hair. Again, because of that, because I just want a lighter application. I want to have that, and not that I'm not able to have control on the amount of pigment that it goes on my face when using this. No, don't get me wrong, this is perfect. I can go light-handed and then I can build it and it looks beautiful and whatnot. But what I'm saying is, like, I would love to see it with these hairs because I know I will have even more control. And the shape of this, how it ends right here too, it just makes for that application of like one side starts a little bit thicker and then as it goes down a little bit thinner. I mean, it's just perfect. Another brush that I really like is, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, they do still have it, but not in the natural hair. This is the Tone 405 brush. This is perfect for bronzing your entire face. Now, Redford came out with a brush that is pretty much the same thing. You can tell the ferrule. Now, this ferrule right here, the one from Redford, is a little bit thicker than the one from Tone 4. but at the end, I mean, they are pretty alike. This is the P22 brush. Now, what I would love to see is like this right here, you have a small face. So I like it, but yet I find it sometimes a little bit too big. Now, Redford also came out with the number 05 brush. Now, I like this one quite a bit because it gives me precise application. I would like to see something right in the middle. Right in the middle. And I like the idea of indigo here. It's completely fine. I completely love it. I just like it a lot, but something in the middle. You see the shapes, they are very alike, but this is just like super big and this is super small. But I think, I mean, I couldn't decide because each of these brushes, I use it in different times depending on what type of bronzer I'm using, the pigmentation of the bronzer and whatnot. And talking about obviously specifically powder bronzers. Now, if I want to apply a cream bronzer, then I go back to this brush right here or this brush over here, the foundation brushes. That's how I tend to apply cream bronzers, going back to my foundation brushes because it just gives a little bit of a better application. It's not notorious, not too obvious, and it just blends with the foundation a lot better. Okay, let's go into blush. Yeah, blush is next. Okay, I have a couple different brushes. One that is natural hair, and this is from Sonia G. This is the soft cheek brush. It does have a round ferrule. These give a very airbrush application of your blush. If you're using a blush that perhaps have a little bit of sheen to it, this will give you that smooth application without over, you know, like looking too overdone. Obviously for matte blushes too, but it just gives the perfect application. And not only that, is as soft as a feather. Now, if I'm using a cream blush, for example, like the one from Patrick Ta, the one that just came out, the duo blushes, I like to use these. I mean, I don't hear anybody talk about this brush right here, but I had a couple of these on my collection. This is by Lancome. Now, this is a synthetic brush. It is a little bit more open than the one from Sonia G. The ferrule is not completely oval, but yes, more oval, and as you can tell, it's even more open than the one from Sonia G. So what it does is that it applies the cream a little bit more amplify, a little bit more diffuse. You still have control over, but it doesn't apply too much. It's synthetic and you don't find the problem. That's another thing right here. With natural hair bristles, sometimes you have to be careful, mostly for undyed ones like this one, to use cream products because it's really hard to remove. And also very important, never use a blue squirrel hair bristle brush with cream products. It will just ruin them completely. But anyhow, this one right here is really beautiful. Now, if I'm talking about more liquidy type of blushes, that they are cream, but they are more into the liquid section, and I have to do like a dropper or like little dots, I really like to use, there's two brushes right here. This one right here is number 25 from Kat Von D, and I know, don't hate me, I know, now is KB Beauty or something like that. They still sell it and it's all black instead of this golden one. Was a limited edition for a holiday of a couple of years, I think it was. I don't even remember. What I like about it is it just gives, again, this is synthetic. It gives the perfect placing of the blush, and it actually feels like a kitten paw. Like that. It's just so soft. It spreads the product so evenly because of the way it's done. If you can see, it's a little bit slanted on the side, so it just kind of like hugs this area. Another thing for me, if you have been watching me, or if you go watch some of my videos, or you decide to subscribe and you start watching my videos, I don't tend to put my blush right here on the apples of my cheeks because I already have enlarged pores right here on this area. So I like to put my blush a little bit up higher, and this is just perfection. Now, if you're not, I mean, like if you're like, regardless if it's called Kat Von D or whatever it is, you don't want to purchase it, then I will go with this Laura Mercier. This is called the Cheek Color Blush. It is pretty much the same thing as the Kat Von D one. It's just a little bit wider, but yet it does the same job. It has that slanted shape on the side right here. Yeah, just perfect. And then for highlighter, the one and only one, and I never thought to say these because I wasn't a person that liked too much fan brushes, but this one right here is so good. The application is very airy. It doesn't emphasize too much the texture because it just gives that airbrush effect. Is the Refer 20 brush, and this is a fan brush. Again, natural hair bristles. It's not too dense. It's super airy. Like you can see the bristles right there. It's very nice, open. I mean, just barely there. You can touch it, just go up, nose, bridge, Cupid's bow if you like it. If you don't like anything of that, and you just want to go right here. And the good thing about it is that you can spread the product. So if you don't want, like I personally do not like a few, just a line. I just like to spread it a little, maybe go a little bit up here. This is just perfect for that. Okay, now going into finishing brushes. I do like to buff my skin. I love, for example, the meteorites from Guerlain, and for those I like to use the BK Beauty 102 brush. This is just super soft. Look at that. When it moves, like all the bristles, they are just not super tight. It's just super airy, so it just gives me the perfect application. That way the finishing powder, I like to use finishing powders that they have certain glow, that it will not be just too glowy that it starts looking like a highlighter, but yet, you know, they give me that beautiful aura effect. Now, if I use a finishing powder that is in a compact form, like say for example the YSL All Hour Glow Powder, then I love this La Mer powder brush. This is also for setting your foundation, but I use it again for the perimeter of my face and to blend the blush with the bronzer, with the highlighter together, so everything looks seamlessly and it just goes, you know, it just looks airbrush. This one right here is beautiful. As you can tell, the bristles are a little bit more dense right here, yet it has a lot of flexibility. I mean, it doesn't have the same bounciness as say the BK Beauty one, but yet you see that, I mean, like it's not way too densely packed. And I love the shape too. I mean, like it just hugs all your face. Just beautiful. Okay friends, now going into eye brushes. So for eye brushes, I do not have too many. I just have very few. The first one that you will see repeating over and over again in every single review of eyeshadow, unless I have them dirty. And I say yes, if I have them dirty, because I have multiple of these, is the Scott Barnes number 62 brush. This one right here is an amazing brush for all over your eyelid. It does have a round ferrule, and then the brushes, they are long, they are not too densely packed, and then again it ends on a slanted shape. That way it just hugs the eyelid perfectly, and it just moves with easy without moving your eyelid everywhere. Let it, you know, like mostly when you arrive to that age, or you have, for example, I do have a lot of sun damage, and that's why there's the loss of firmness on my eyelids. It just glides on the product so easy. It just gives the perfect application. Not only that, this tip right here, it helps a lot because I can use it, like sometimes I have used only this brush and only this brush to make an entire look, because with the tip I'm able to go right on my crease and apply the product right on my crease, intensify on my outer V. I mean, there's so much to do. Pack. This brush is just amazing. I mean, I'm so happy I discovered it. It is that good. Now I would love to have this same brush right here, but in a smaller version with a squirrel hair. And for that, for right now, I have the Wayne Goss number 4 brush. Now I said for now because this is not exactly the same. I wish to have the same shape, a little bit shorter, just for that precise application. But I think this is another brush right here that will give you, if you have an eyeshadow that have too much pigmentation but you like the color and you like to go lightly and just slowly build up that pigmentation, then this brush is perfect for that too. Okay, another brush that I feel that I need, because again I have a small eyelid space, hooded eyes, and when I want to get right into my crease or a little bit above my crease, but to be very precise, and that's something very important to me, precision brushes. precision brushes, those are the ones that are perfect for my likes and for my needs. One of them is a Sonia G, and is the mini booster, and this is tiny but mighty. It's not too densely packed. It ends on a little bit, not to taper it, but just a little bit of a tip right here. Round ferrule. This is dye go hair. It just goes perfectly right here on the crease, and it just keeps the application right there. You can build and build on, and yet being able to diffuse completely that eyeshadow. I mean, just exquisite. Now for more precise application, blending, if I want to deepen out my outer V or the outer third of my eyelid, I know a lot of people will go with a E25 by Sigma. I actually like quite a bit the detailed blending brush, the E27. If I'm not mistaken, this came out this year. Is the sister version of the E25. Is smaller, tinier, and like great, good for those of us that we have a small eyelid space, or if you have hooded eyes and you want to pack and blend. This is just perfection. Not only that, but because it's also a synthetic brush, you can use it with cream products. For example, if you have the Charlotte Tilbury cream eyeshadows, you can use that one as well. With this one, it's just perfect. And again, the application is a lot more precise. Even if you have more real estate right here on your lids, I mean, it will give you that precise application, because again, it's as good as the E25, but it's smaller than the E25. I think it's just so good. Okay, and then the brush that I use with, say, satin shades, sometimes metallic shades, is the Sonia G Builder Pro brush. This is a little bit more dense pack. This is again natural hair. It does have a beautiful shape. I mean, very alike per se to the shape of the E27, just a little bit wider, and the tip right here is a little bit more oval. And it just gives the perfect application again for that metallic or satin shade or that shimmery shade right there. Now, if you want of an eyeshadow to look foil and impactful, just as you see it in the pan, and you know, like say the Sydney Grace eyeshadows, the Smith 253 brush. This has an arrow head. I mean, you see it right here. This is just perfect. It does have some density. It's not super dense, but it does end up on this arrow head that is just perfect, because you can go from the inner portion of the eyelid all the way to the middle and get that metallic eyeshadow going. Or say, for example, if you're going with the Blitz Astral eyeshadows from Pat McGrath, this brush would just give you that perfect application, metallic, and again, because of that arrow type of end of the bristles, it just gives you the perfect application for the inner portion all the way around the eyelid. I mean, it's just over the top amazing. Okay, now for blending the edges, or if you just want to blow out kind of eyeshadow, I will go with, this is by Refer, is a P07A brush. I think they have changed the name right now because this was a prototype, so if I find it, I will leave it on the description box below. But yeah, this is your typical blending brush with a round ferrule. The bristles are completely open, and it just hugs your entire lid, and you can just blend all the edges. Or if you're finishing your eye makeup, again, this will give you just that perfect application. Now, this is of Indigo hair, so I will not suggest for, say, application of liquid eyeshadows, but this is a really good one. Okay, and then going to the lower lash line, I will say I will go with this Refer O2 brush. I really like that it starts dense at the ferrule. It does have a pinch oval ferrule right here, making of the bristles dense at the bottom, but a little bit thin at the top. I mean, I wish you can see it, because it's just so thin that you can get into that lower lash line and smoke that lower lash line and just make it perfect. It's also a really good way to kind of camouflage those fine lines down there. It's just so good. Now, if you want to use an eyeshadow as a liner and you want to have a precise application, and you have like so many fine lines as I do, and it's just hard to go with, you know, like a regular eyeliner. I will say the Sonia G flat definer, this changed my life forever. I mean, you can have multiple uses. In fact, I do have a video dedicated on the brushes from Sonia G too. If you want to see it, I will leave it, I don't know, in the cards or in the description box below. But this one will just give you the perfect, I mean, like if you want to do even a wing with this brush, you can do it. Completely do it. Now, these bristles are Daigo hair, but it just ends on the perfect, most thinnest tip ever, that again you can just like go and get close to your lash line, smudge and all of that. Now for my inner corner and my brow bone is the Refer 03 brush. This one also you can use it for line your eyelids, but I still like more my flat definer by Sonia G. This one right here, I like to use it mostly for my brow bone or for my inner corner. It is Daigo hair. As you can tell, it's not pokey. It's just a little nub of hair right here, just perfect. And now the last brush is for my lips. So when you use your lip liner, sometimes you want to feather out a little bit that lip liner, so it's not just a full-on line and then a center color and it kind of looks a little bit odd, a little bit of like early 90s vibe, right? And sometimes it's not the most flattering one, so I will go with this Scott Barnes number 60 brush. Now this one is a multiple use brush because you can also use it as an eyeliner brush. It's just, again, very fine, tiny, very precise, slanted. It's just perfect. As you can tell right here, I have different brushes for different purposes, different type of hair types. Now, the only thing that I would love to say that if I was to create some brushes that, like I said, I was really adventurous and I was like, you know, let me put myself to draw and all of that, but we went for no, let's just do it kind of like simple. But another thing that I want to talk about is the handle. For me, the perfect handle is something like the Scott Barnes handle for all brushes. To be long, to have the ergonomical shape, and I say ergonomical because usually the brush, when I'm applying any product, I like to hold it right here, but sometimes if I have to hold it from here, it just fits perfectly in between my fingers and I just can have the perfect application. So I can go from here to here and it still feels very comfortable. Now the finish, obviously, that will have to be another factor, another story right there, but I think, again, long handles with an ergonomical shape that is a little bit wider here at the end and then it ends on a very slim part. I think those are my preference as far as brushes goes. Like for example, this one right here is really nice, but I wish to be just a little bit longer as well. I mean, thin. I used to paint a lot in canvas and that's what I used to do for a long time. So I have a very special connection with brushes and I appreciate brushes so much. One day I would love to go to Japan and go for a little bit of a shopping of brushes. That would be so awesome. Okay, my friends, I hope that you really enjoyed this video. I think I covered it all right here. Now, I would love to know, what are your favorite brushes? What brushes do you think I should try? I know that I'm late to the party to brush Epson brushes, Chikoto brushes. I mean, there are so many out there. But let me know, what are your favorite brushes? Which are the ones that you would recommend me to try? And do not forget to please go ahead and check Mel's and Kelsee's videos. I'm really looking forward to see what I can learn from them. What are the brushes that I should be looking after and the reasons why, because again, they will give you that perspective from a makeup artist, and that's just so much valuable education right there that I just absolutely love. Go ahead, give them some love, give them the support that they deserve. And once again, I'm just so grateful to have you here. I hope that before you leave and while you're leaving that comment, you will consider and subscribe to my channel. Do not forget to ring the post notification bell so that way you don't miss any of my uploads. Here on this channel, you will find a lot of reviews, hauls. I mean, I do a lot right here. I try to bring you very consistent and quality content. So again, I would love for you to become part of my family. If you have a little bit of a chance, please come and follow me on my Instagram. I would love to grow my family there. If you like this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. Also share with family and friends. And until the next time, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.